Hey, Larson here, welcome to the newest EDM Production tutorial. Today I want to share you the top 5 secrets to making your 808 sounding brutal. But before we jump into it, let me encourage you to subscribe and hit the little bell icon to receive notifications whenever I upload new videos. I upload Synthesize Sunday tutorials on every Sunday, EDM Production tutorials on every Wednesday, and song feedback sessions on every Friday. So if you don't want to miss any of these, smash those buttons for good. This 808 sound, what I just showed you, is made out of operator, and I used another stage where I imported the pure exported sound from operator into sampler, and I made several tweaks to make it sound this awesome. The first secret, if what you barely use, is to use some FM on your sound. So this is the first stage of the 808, what I made in operator, and let me show it without using FM and with using FM. So this is without FM. And this is with FM. Now, as you can see, I use only one sine wave and I modulated it with another waveform, which is basically a simple sine wave again, but I applied several harmonics to it. So that FM is very important, and if you have a look on the spectrum, you can see that we are having a lot more harmonics and a lot cooler harmonics than without the FM. So it is very important to make your sound a little growlier. The second secret is to use modulation, and you can achieve that by simply using an envelope on the FM modulator. So you don't want to go static, but you want to make your beginning of your 808 a little harder with a lot more harmonics, and after a few milliseconds or even after a few seconds you want to pull back the FM modulation, pull back the filtering or even the distortion or something to make your sound move. Okay, so you don't want a static simple sine or a distorted with lots of harmonic sine, but you want to make a living, a breathing kind of sound, and you can achieve that by modulating, for example, the FM modulation on it, or you can use several other modulation. The third secret is, well, it's not really a secret, but you want to use distortion. So as you can see, I use an overdrive here, plus I used a trash, and on the second stage where I used an 808 in the sampler, I applied another overdrive, and in the sampler I used some drive to it. As you can see here, I applied almost 10 decibels of drive to the final sound. So let me compare it with the drive and without the drive. So here is with the drive. And now let me pull back the distortion on the sampler and the overdrive. And now let's listen it back again. Pretty soft and weak, so you don't want that. You want to have some drive, like 10 decibels, and some overdrive. If you want to avoid your sound being too simple and siney and unrecognizable, you want to use several shapers, for example, cabinets or phasers or anything which push your sound away from the regular stuff. You don't want to have a simple sine wave with some added harmonics, you want to add some character to the sound. Now this is why I use the phaser here, but if you want you can use an audio effect like adding your cabinet, something like this. I made several 808s using cabinets and just play around with the settings. This is a nice little addition to the main sound. So anyway, you want to use some cabinets, even phasers, you can add phaser, or if you use trash too, you can use the convolve, which is a pretty awesome tool to shape your sounds, shape your 808. And the last but the most important tip and secret here is to use a sampler. Because I see lots of you guys use a 808 in audio, which is, I think, a big mistake, because you cannot do a lot of things in audio. But if you put your 808 in a sampler, you can use very, very cool stuff like gliding your 808, what I did here. Plus, you can add drive and distortion built-in sampler here, as you saw here. You can add filter movement using the filter envelope. I'm not using it here in this example, but I did it several times before. Plus you can add some volume envelope to it to cut a notch here for the kick. You know, this way you won't conflict with the kick in the mix because you cut out the place of the kick in the sub, and this is a very nice way to avoid sidechaining. For example, it will be a lot easier for you, you know, to take care of your sub. You don't need to use a compressor to sidechain your sound. So one more time, the top 5 secrets to make your 808 sounding brutal is: first, use FM, because you want to add some more harmonics to the sound, and FM is a very cool way to do that. Use modulation, because you don't want to have a static sound, you want to have some movement to your sound, you want to add some breath to your sound. You can add modulation using an envelope or a filter movement. Add distortion. You can try several distortion types like overdrive, saturators, or if you use thrash, the possibilities are endless. So you don't want to go with one distortion, you want to have several distortions. If you have only Ableton stock plugins, you can also make awesome distortions. And to shape your sound, to avoid sounding unrecognizable, you want to add some shapers like cabinets or phasers, even flangers. You can add several stuff to it. For example, the pedal, which you have in Ableton 10. So just drop it in. I'm sure you can make very cool stuff with that too. And last, use a sampler, because I know and I see lots of guys use 808s in audio, which is a very dumb thing. You cannot bend your sound. And you can add several other stuff like filter envelopes and other things. So using your 808 in a sampler is essential. So I hope you enjoyed this and learned a lot from it. I was Dan Larson, and see you next time, guys. Bye bye.